Hey y'all, it's your girl who swirls, Crystalline Karazin from Interracial Dating Central. And as promised, I did make this hangout just by the skin of my teeth, y'all. It's been one of those crazy mommy days. If you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. This has been a crazy, crazy day. But we're going to jump right in because I want to go over this guy's question. He reached out to me because, he found me on YouTube and Facebook. And so he said he wanted to ask me this question because he's 20 years old and he's interested in interracial relationships. And he wants to get my advice on this. I'm going to read it. He says, "Hi, Crystalline. So I'm white and I have one thought in my mind that stays there. What if my future children reject my identity as a white man as they grow into their own person? I don't know what I would do if they decided that their mother's culture fits better with their own view of themselves and they just push me and my heritage away. I can't even fathom how I could raise a kid that is disinterested in my half of their existence. My biggest fear is that my kids will feel as though they grew up without a father because I don't know how to raise them because they feel like they're more one race than the other. I don't know how I come off here, but I feel there's no answer for this and that I just have to do it and do my damnedest to raise them the best I can." All right. So I already answered this question, but this is the first time that I'm doing it live. And what I told this young man is that the parents really are the keepers of the culture. And it's going to be your responsibility when the child is very young to instill those values. And that means that you're going to have the responsibility of knowing what your heritage is. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm white from the valley." No, you need to say, this is where my ancestors came from. This is, sort of how we came to be where we were. You're part of this. You are half of what I am. And you, as a parent, have the responsibility to know who you are and where you come from. And that's why I get really excited about these DNA tests. So if you don't know where you are and where you came from, it's really easy to find out. And it's actually a really cool adventure that you can have because you may think you're one thing and then find out, dang, I didn't know I was, Irish, Mexican, Samoan. I mean, so and it's relatively easy to do. Like I hear 23andMe is very, very easy. And it's something that you need to have, you need to be in accordance with your partner. So before you guys even have children, these conversations need to be had. Y'all should not be winging it. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't just say, "Well, I'm just gonna throw the dice and see where it goes." No, you guys need to be having these kind of conversations and saying, hey, look, we need to teach our kids, all of who they are. It took 50% of you, or it will, you haven't had any babies yet, but it took 50% of you to create that baby. And it took 50% of her. And still, it's also going to be her responsibility to find out where she comes from. And you're going to have to instill that in their kids. And what's the thing is that because it's an adventure that you guys can discover together, you can make it exciting. You guys can make it as a family trip. Oh, you know what? Your father is from Glasgow, Scotland. We're going to go to Scotland. Oh, your mother is from Ghana. Okay, we're going to go to Ghana. Okay. That's the kind of thing that is a way that you instill pride in your children in terms of where they come from. And it's that foundation, because basically you're the parents. By the time they become teenagers, they're going to do stuff just to piss you off. I have an 18-year-old and I have a 13-year-old. And I can tell you that they do things just to piss me off. But it's your responsibility as the parent to sort of have that cornerstone. And that's really what it is your job to do. So from the moment they're born, if your child is mixed race, say you're Hispanic, sing to them lullabies in Spanish. Teach them folk tales from an African culture that you belong to. I mean, there's so many ways to create this acceptance and love and embracing of everything that you are. And here's another thing too. There will be people, especially in the United States, who will try to insist, especially if your child is of African descent, who will try to say, no matter what, your child is black. And it's going to be your responsibility to instill in your child that that is not true. And that whole one drop rule of if you have any black in you, then you're black was created by a white supremacist society that was looking to preserve the inheritances of white women and white children. So for us to continue as parents of biracial children, for us to continue something that was absolutely racist in the first place, I think is an error on our part as responsible parents of multiracial children. So I think that it's all of our parts, if we're parents or if we're thinking being parents, that we instill in our children pride in all of the things that they are. Like my kids know that on my husband's side, he's Irish, German, and Polish. The last name Karazin is very rare. It has a family crest. Their great grandfather on his mother's side created machine parts. He was a German immigrant before World War II. Was a German immigrant who came to America, didn't hardly know any English, worked in a machine factory, then bought his own factory, made machine parts that were fought in World War II, and created parts that were part of the first rocket to make it to the moon. I mean, that's the kind of history that's pretty amazing. Like, and on my side, there's so many stories that I can tell about our families, what was important to us, things that we did, our cultures, things that we valued. It's important for you to instill those things on both sides and have the pride. And now there's an old saying that once you put into a child, a certain type of idea, they may wander away, but they'll come back to it one day. And it's really all part of their development to sort of wander away and try to find themselves. And I think we as parents need to encourage that. But it really starts out with both parents acknowledging the importance of both sides of who this child is. Now, I want to see what you guys have to say. Somebody asked me if I had any advice for mixed families or blended families. In fact, I have a blended family. My first child was full black, and subsequently I had 3 biracial children. And so I have 4 children in all. And it's interesting. I think that it's a good introduction to what family is going to be like. I think ultimately it's about acceptance And it's about not just acceptance and tolerating, but actually embracing some things. And I remember when I started dating my husband, when I just had my kid and we hadn't had any kids together, he is like the whitey white guy at a Thanksgiving gathering that my best friend, who was black, was organized, and it was like all black people there. And so I was a little nervous, like, let's see how he is gonna handle this. So I turned my back, and my future husband is outside, and all the kids are waiting in a line to be swung around in a circle because he's got 3 kids, 2 on one arm, 1 on the other, and he's swinging them around like a carnival ride. And they're all like, me next, me! And the kids loved him. And it was like, he just kind of got in where he fit in. And it was that moment that I was like, look at him with all these little chocolate babies standing in line to be next to him and to like interact with him, because it didn't matter to him what color those kids were. He likes kids. And so he just kind of, dove in there, and he just became the life of the party. And then, he found things that he could identify with. Now, granted, he's like the guy from, the East Coast, Yankee town. Practically no black people in the town where he grew up. But what he did was he found ways that he could create some sort of commonality that that he could bridge those gaps. So it would be football. For him, it was like football. Men in football, it doesn't matter what color they are. So it was like football. As soon as you talk football, then it was like I knew I could leave the room and that he would be okay. And kids and anything sports related and outside activities, he was there. So what I would advise is that you guys need to, while you guys may be different, find ways that you can connect based on similarities, the things that you guys all like, but also create new memories and customs that you guys share. Like that's what we did when we started building our family. And we created cultures and memories and traditions that we did together as a family that bonded us and made us close. Kevin, I see you. Kevin Cooper is a longtime friend on Facebook, and he has 2 beautiful, I'm talking about gorgeous, half black daughters that are just gorgeous. Wait, you have 3. Do you have 3 or do you have a son now, Kevin? I know you just had a baby, but I don't know if it was a girl or a boy, but just gorgeous. But so that is the advice that I would give you. Okay, so Anne Rubin says, "Hi, I'm from Australia. My husband is white Australian, and we had a child who is part white and part dark. I'm also part white myself. Not everyone will worry about it if they don't, get what they expect." That's right. When you have multiracial children, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And you just have to embrace it. I think the key thing about being in an interracial relationship and raising multiracial children in this society is being open, not just in your heart, but in your mind, and be willing to accept and embrace other people's cultures, and that we really are, we can create something stronger than if it were just, we are greater than our sum of parts. All right, guys. So I hope that you like this live question of the week. I certainly enjoy the interactiveness of it. And I like that you guys like what I have to say and that you agree. That means that the old noggin is working. If you guys have questions that you want me to address in future weeks, because I'm going to be doing this every Thursday, you can either ask the question down here, or if it's something that's personal, you can DM us and we can do that. And finally, oh wait, okay, Kevin has 2 girls, 26 and 6, and the youngest just turned 6 today, and a boy, woohoo, 7 months. Congratulations. Yeah, so if you guys have questions that you want me to address next time, I am certainly open to that. And I gotta read this quote because it's this cool. Sabrina Rose says, I am biracial. I have 3 beautiful children whose father is white. My daughter is darker than my son, who is in the middle, but he feels and knows no difference. That's great. All my kids are different shades. Our last kid, we joke because every child we had was like lighter and lighter. Our last child was like light with like blondish hair, and we joke it's like our next child is gonna be albino. So let's not have another one. I was like, I'm tired. I am not having any more kids. No. I have populated the earth. I have done my part. 4 kids is enough. All right, guys. So if you guys are interested in interracial relationships and interracial dating, you guys know that I am also the brand ambassador of Interracial Dating Central. And I have been the brand ambassador for years and years and years. And here's why. Because I get to do all the success stories, and I've seen them personally myself. I've had people who've written for me on my blog who joined Interracial Dating Central and found their wife, and we actually went to Vegas a few years back celebrating that very thing. They have connected more people than you could ever even imagine, crossed color lines, crossed boundaries, crossed territories, crossed countries. They have really done their part to really bridge those gaps. And if you guys are ready, you should just check it out. I mean, join for a month and see what happens. I would love to be telling your success story next. So you might want to check interracialdatingscentral.com. I just had to put in that plug at the end because they are the sponsors of this wonderful, wonderful page. And I will see you guys next time. You guys are really wonderful. I love you so much. Much love. Keep swirling. I was tired before I started doing this video chat, and you guys have just picked me up and made me happy. I'm not even tired anymore. So thank you guys for that. And I will see you next Tuesday. Make sure you tune in. Bye.